So today, Ellie's let me come so we can play a game of fact
or fiction.
She's really excited about this.
When you play this on your streams that you do, there was one time I was going to comment and then I ended up having to go wrangle my kids.
Sure.
I love it. I can't wait to see.
We have so much fun.
How good or bad I do.
Yes, we do this every Friday over on my Instagram at Lactation Link. So if you guys want to play again, head on over there and hang out and we'll have fun. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bring up questions or statements that real clients have had about breastfeeding. Ellie is gonna guess fact or fiction, and then I'm gonna give the research-based answer.
Awesome.
Okay, perfect. So our first...
And don't mind me, I'm just like trying to get Tommy to latch.
She's multitasking, so we're not gonna keep score or anything like that. Okay, so the first one is fact or fiction. Caffeine should be avoided while breastfeeding. Answer is... fiction.
Yeah.
See, give each other a little high five on that.
And the reason why I say that is I talked to a lactation specialist one time after Jackson.
Okay.
And I didn't take her advice, and I don't judge those who would take her advice, but she's like, drink a beer. I'm like, and she's like, it'll help boost the supply. So I'm like, okay. I didn't. And so that's why I'm like, this is totally fiction. Because if she suggested that.
Right.
I'm sure a little caffeine won't hurt a little baby.
Right. So about 300 milligrams of caffeine per day is considered to be okay. So that's about the same as about 5 cups of coffee.
What?
Yeah.
And to me, that's way too much. Because
just such a small amount would ever get into the milk. So it's typically not a problem. So I think a lot of coffee drinkers on here or soda drinkers are going to be really happy about that fact or fiction answer.
That actually is amazing. Yeah. I'm going to drink a little bit more Pepsi tonight.
This next one, fact or fiction, never wake a sleeping baby. What do you think, fact or fiction?
Technically, you should wake a sleeping baby if the house is on fire, but I'm going to say fact because I don't think you should ever wake up.
Right. And I'm gonna say fiction, okay? And here's why. The first 2 weeks is really the only time that I think that this applies to, okay?
Actually, you're right, yeah.
And that's for 2 reasons.
Yeah.
It's number 1, to make sure baby's getting enough calories to get back to their birth weight, because all babies lose some weight in the first days and weeks, okay? So we need to make sure to get them enough calories to get back to that birth weight. And number 2 is so that we're putting in a good order for our milk supply, okay? So really in that first 2 weeks, just try not to let more than about 3 hours go by in between feedings.
Which sometimes can be so hard.
So we don't want to get crazy about the clock like we've mentioned in previous videos. So you don't have to be a bean counter and sitting there and making sure everything's perfect, but try not to let more than 3 hours go by from start to start of a feed in the first 2 weeks. Okay.
Got it.
And things that can help with the sleepy baby, dressing down to a diaper, right?
Yep.
Putting them all right on that skin to skin can help kind of wake them up and get those newborn reflexes going towards the breast.
Perfect.
Okay. For babies that seem fussier in the evening, be sure to use alternate soothing techniques like bouncing, shushing, and swaying instead of just breastfeeding, so you don't become a human pacifier. What do you think, fact or fiction?
I'm all for swinging and rocking.
And I'm gonna say fiction.
Damn it!
Okay, here's the deal. You can totally do those. You can totally do those other things.
Okay.
But the key to this one was the very end where I said, so you don't become...
yeah, you tricked me.
I totally tricked you.
I thought that was a little weird.
But I told you we're not keeping score, so it's okay. So the end was so you don't become a human pacifier. A lot of times people are like, oh, I'm gonna become a human pacifier.
You won't become a human pacifier.
If I give the baby the breast or this or that. Well, the boob is kind of like, is kind of a human pacifier, like, and it's what baby needs.
Okay.
So it's never the wrong answer to put them to breast if they're fussy. And a lot of times in the evening is a classic time for them to have some nighttime fussiness, so they may want to go to breast every hour between like the hours of 5 to 10. And yes, you can do some alternate techniques, but it's totally okay to give them the breast
and let them just linger as long as they want.
Yeah, and put them on there frequently in those hours, because sometimes during the day is when they kind of take more of the milk stores, like the milk that's just sitting there, and at nighttime there's less readily available, so they're removing it as it's being made. So at nighttime they'll have more snacks,
Got it.
That's why they want to eat more frequently in the evening. Fenugreek, have you heard of fenugreek before?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's kind of like a herb.
That helps boost your milk supply.
Okay, is a proven research-based way to increase milk supply. Fact or fiction?
I want to say fact.
Dang it, it's fiction. Okay, I'm sorry. Ellie's gonna kick me out of her house, you guys.
Yeah.
Okay, here's why.
Where's those chips you brought?
Get them out. We need to eat here. So the reason is because it says proven research-based. Okay.
Okay.
So there's no research to suggest that fenugreek is a proven way to boost supply.
But I know it does.
Okay, but see, that's what you said. So that's like a little anecdotal evidence. So that's like your experience.
Yeah.
That fenugreek has been helpful to you. And there may be other moms on here who say, oh, I took some and I feel like it was helpful for me as well.
Some people.
But we also don't know, well, what else were you doing during that time you were taking fenugreek? Were you
Drinking
feeding
more water?
Were you feeding more? I thought you said drinking a beer. Like you
Wasn't doing that. Should have.
But were you doing other things like feeding more frequently, like throwing in some extra hand expression sessions or a pumping session? Our number one lifeline of what we know is a research-based way to boost milk supply is increasing stimulation to the breast through either feeding baby more frequently, pumping, hand expression, those types of things. And if you want to try things like herbs or things like fenugreek, go ahead and try it, but no, it's not your first lifeline and it's not research-based.
Got it.
Okay, and always talk to your doctor. Okay, because you want to make sure that it doesn't interact with other things that you're already taking. Breasts not leaking in between feedings is a sure sign of a poor milk supply. Breasts not leaking in between feedings, sure sign of a poor milk supply.
That's not true at all.
Ding, ding, ding.
See, I got something right.
Good job. Round of applause for Ellie.
And I think the same goes for people think, oh, my boobs are like flat and soft and I have no milk.
Perfect.
Because I've felt that. I've thought that before. I've been like, well, there's that. No, if you're frequently feeding your baby, there is milk in there.
And
I'll
also,
let you finish that out. I'm not the professional.
Remember how on the previous video you talked about our bodies are all different and they're different sizes, different builds. That applies here. Some women will leak every day that they breastfeed and they'll need
for the
pads
full year
for
or
the
two.
full time, right? Others never leak a bit. Sometimes people will leak for the first little bit and then after about 6 weeks or so, they don't need pads anymore. They're fine.
And that's where I'm at.
It's all individual. So, but I don't want you to feed into that, which is a milk supply myth that I'm not leaking, so I must not have enough milk.
Yeah.
Most of the times moms, when they wean before they're ready, like before they hit their goals or before they want to, is because something in their head, they're feeding into a milk supply myth that they've heard.
With my first son, I had a nice high grade pump. I would get nothing out of it. I wouldn't get milk.
Sure.
And I thought I have no milk, but I knew that he was eating and was happy
because he was swallowing. He had wet, messy diapers.
Yeah. Again, I did the same with my son, my second son. I had a nice pump. I pumped. I really got no milk. And then I just ended up ordering a hand pump because it was cheap, it was fast, and I got so much milk.
Yep. And I love that you mentioned that because some women do not respond well to electric breast pumps.
Sorry, honey.
But that doesn't mean that you don't have any milk.
Yeah.
Now there are some things you can try, like making sure your suction's working, making sure you have the right size of flange or breast shield, the part that's touching your breast. You can do things like watch recordings of your baby or listen to like record them crying and play that while you're trying to pump.
That's so sad. Sounds awful.
Or just little coos. It doesn't have to be cries. And make sure you're using hands-on pumping. So you can get a hands-free bra or cut holes in like an old sports bra. So you have hands-free so you can do some of that compression and stuff that you mentioned earlier. But a lot of women will do not a lot, some will do all those things and still they can't get a drop.
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean that they don't have milk.
Totally.
So that was
That's
perfect
hard.
that you got a hand pump or you just used hand expression.
Awesome.
Perfect. Frequent breastfeeding has been linked to sore and painful nipples. You should never feed more frequently than every 2 hours to avoid painful nipples.
I know for sure that this is fiction, but it's fact, baby. Frequent feeding hurts your nipples.
So we're giving two
Mother
answers.
Love nipple cream.
So we're giving two answers here. Okay,
it's fiction and it's fact.
It's like this. This is.
I know it's fiction though. You should nurse more than just the every 2 hours, because sometimes they nurse for every 30 minutes.
Right, for a certain period.
For a day or two.
Right, okay.
Or they're literally on there all day long.
So I think the key is with our double answer
Okay.
is that we want to get a deep latch. Okay, if you have a deep latch, then frequency shouldn't really matter as far as pain. Okay,
Yeah.
in the first couple days, you're going to have soreness. Okay, but that's much different than months. But that soreness, I don't know, you tell me your experience, is much different than ouch, ouch, curling my toes pain when baby latches. Tell me your experience.
I would say curling my toes.
Really? Okay.
Was the first 2 weeks.
Couple weeks. Okay.
And I think it all depends on the baby because my first two didn't have an big open latch,
which is
it
big
hurt bad. No matter the amount of nipple cream I used, it hurt. And I just like literally when Jared would walk in the room, I'm just like, oh my gosh, like it just hurts. For the first 2 weeks. And I knew that they didn't have a deep latch, but there's really not much I could do about that to help.
Yeah.
But it went away and they grew up and they learned how to eat.
Yeah.
And I didn't quit at 2 weeks, even though I wanted to. I just told myself, just go 2 more weeks just until we get situated.
Yeah. And you're right, as that mouth grows and as they get better, they learn, right? One little trick you can use if you're like, okay, they were latching great in the hospital, but now that I'm kind of full, I'm having difficulty getting them to open wider or to kind of be able to grab.
The boob is so big and hard for a minute.
The boob is huge, right?
Yeah.
So think about a balloon. Okay, and if the balloon is not like a water balloon, I guess what I'm saying, okay? And if the balloon is not super full, it's just a little bit full, think about the end where you tied it, you can kind of pull that a little bit and you can kind of grasp onto it. But as soon as you put a lot of air in that balloon or you put a lot of water in that balloon and then you try to pull the end, you can barely pull it. Totally. You definitely can't grasp onto the end because it's pulled like this, stretched, right?
They slip off.
It's the same thing with your breast. So one thing you can do is you can let a little air out of the balloon. Okay, so you use that hand expression for a minute or two before latching. Let a little of that milk come out, let a little air out of the balloon, easier for them to latch on a little bit deeper.
Perfect.
So that's a little tool you can put in your tool belt.
Perfect.
But you will have some tenderness.
Perfect. For the first 2 weeks.
Yes.
I would say give yourself, I like the idea of the first 6 weeks, you are recovering and healing. And that first 6 weeks, the baby is learning, growing, and everything. So like give yourself 6 weeks for you and baby. The first 2 weeks for me is hard nursing. After that, it was like he learned, I learned, and we were good. But I noticed that 6 weeks, my milk's leveled out. He was better at eating. He was even better at a little sleeping. Like just everything in general, give yourself like 6 weeks.
Give yourself 6 weeks. And if it's not for you after 6 weeks, you gave it a great effort. And that's but then after 6 weeks, if it is going better, you're gonna go, oh, I'm so happy I stuck through those hard times.
Give yourself another 6 weeks.
Yeah, I'm so happy I kind of gutted it out through those hard times because now we're in a much better place.
Totally.
And I feel like breastfeeding is gonna be so much more convenient than having to buy the formula every week and have to get up in the middle of the night and all that stuff. So I love that. And I teach that in my classes as well. And I always say, for the first 6 weeks, make plans to make no plans.
I love that.
And try to kind of take that pressure off yourself, take as much off your plate as possible.
I love that.
That kind of thing. So last fact or fiction we're gonna do is about the classes really quick. Okay. So fact or fiction, the Lactation Link online classes never expire and you can watch them over and over again.
You didn't even tell me the answer.
I know, you're so smart. So
I knew the answer.
We have to ding when we get it right together. So that's a fact. So we do have online classes.
I love it.
Thousands of moms have taken them. I would try to take them before delivery if you can, and you can go back and reference them as much as you need to. And they're all video based, so it's not like you're sitting there reading through a bunch of textbooks and things. And it will give you confidence. It's really not about, oh, if I have a problem, I'll watch those. It's more about, this is creating confidence in breastfeeding, but also motherhood. So I'd love if you guys would check those out. Go over to lactationlink.com or hit us up on Instagram, and we have the link in bio. We have a free course you can try.
I love it.
Or you can go straight to the paid courses, but we would love to see you inside the course.
I am so excited. It's been so fun getting to know Lindsay.
It's been fun to hang out.
I'll have all of her information in the description below. We've had an awesome session here filming videos. I hope you guys have enjoyed them. Check out the last 2 videos that we just filmed, and we will see you guys in our regular routine videos.
Ding!
Ding! Subscribe to Ellie and Jared. Don't forget to like the video, and we'll see you guys later. Awesome. Bye, guys.
Bye.